Welcome, my friends. My name is Huntanor, the Storyteller, and this is our Iberian tale. This is our great story of the Merkid dynasty, their Merkid Sultanate, and one day possibly their Merkid Empire. Young Abdul holds power through the just rule of the various clans and families beneath him. He has worked hard to validate that rule by creating the Sultanate of the African coast, by assuring that each one of his servants, his vassals, is appropriately represented within the Great Sultanate and the Grand Emirate. Now, he must move on to the next part of his great dream, the unification of those lands in Iberia which were once held by the Umayyad Emperor. Uzzah, as a youth, was impressed by the dream of an Umayyad Muslim golden age in Iberia, a dream that was shattered when the various vassals in the region tore down the empire in order to gain their independence. Now, it is the belief of Abdul that it is his destiny, through the unification of his Andalusian blood, his Berber upbringing, and his Catalanian cultural influence, that he is the right man to finally bring about that golden age. Creating the Duchy of Seville, we're going to conquer all the counties around us. The first war here is going to be a bit of vicarious revenge for our ally, because he lost a war against this guy some time ago, lost some territory to him, and we're just gonna give him an opportunity to fight back here, to participate in our war against him. We're also going to get our new ally down in Africa to join. I don't even think we need them. We should be able to handle this without them, but everybody in, right? Yep. Everybody in, everybody participates. This is an essential war for solidifying the power of the Grand Emirate of the Merkid Islands into the territory that was once held by the Umayyad Empire. I don't even want to chase this guy down. We're just gonna siege down here. In fact, we're just gonna siege here, and he will probably turn around and try to stop us. He did not. Our siege has been successful. I don't know how he's gonna win. Alright, she has created us a book. It is a diplomacy lifestyle book. That's great. She's done a good job. I don't know why she called us her love, though. We don't love her. And it is a court item. Our court is starting to look kind of snazzy. More items. Our second siege is about to end, and with that, the war should be over. Our spy master has died. We're going to have to do something about that immediately. Yeah. That's it. Victory. One more step closer. So we have no good spy master. Our only decent spy master is Amir al-Aladin III, but he already has a job as chancellor. The only other person I see at all is this 12, Wali Dumbernia. I don't know who he even is. I've never even seen him before. But I guess he will probably have to be it. Oh, hey. Oh, he is a dwarf. He is an ugly dwarf, and dwarves aren't particularly ugly as a rule. But this guy, there's something wrong with his face. It's just something I don't like. And Amir Gabriel, we're having a difficult time making him our friend. He likes being our ally. He trusts us. He believes in us. But he does not want to join us, and he does not want to become our friend. Who did we lose now? Oh, our marshal. Well, Sheikh Abdullah will be a even better marshal than the one we had before, so he can just jump right in there. He's also a powerful vassal, which should help clean things up. I can't believe we still have that guy in there. And this is our brother-in-law. Just negotiate an alliance with him because of our family connection. He is the child of our dead mother's dead husband, I'm pretty sure. Let's just solidify another alliance here with one of our emirs by marrying our youngest daughter to one of their sons. Good. Consolidation means strength in our Grand Emirate. Right, our wife is pregnant again. Nice. More children means more alliances, and our direct heir has his future already set for him because of our high partition. I hope Gadi joins us eventually. He is not getting any closer. We're probably going to have to pull a hard move to get him in. Yeah. All right, we have had another son. That's good. The more the merrier. Big families means that our dynasty will spread. Hopefully some of them can find futures for themselves outside of our realm, because we don't have that much land for them personally that will get spread around, just Sardinia and Seville. Okay, some alliances, some family alliances. Good. Again, strength for us in a clan comes from alliances. We're just going to continue down law till we hit the end. That powerful vassal opinion of +5 will really help us. It'll also help our son when we're gone. We are a true ruler. We're just going to pick up Befriend and... No, Befriend will let us play games. Challenging people to board games can help get friendship with them. In fact, we're going to do that with him right now. I just don't think we're close enough to becoming his friend that doing this will actually push it over. Let's just see. Hopefully he takes it well, because I do not like it when they take it poorly. Love to play again sometime. Okay, that helped. We are closer to becoming friends. We are just way too different. Even though we're great at making friends, we just cannot get it with him. We just are way too different. That's a bit of a stumbling block. So we're going to have to pull out the big guns, something we always knew we were going to eventually have to do in order to try to cascade a peaceful conquest of southern Iberia, and that is changing our court type to diplomatic. Feels a little cheesy, but I think, to be honest, it's not like it's hard to win wars, you know? And it's very unlikely you're going to convince someone to become your vassal that you wouldn't have won the war against anyway, so this is just an easier way to do it, in my opinion. Hopefully we'll be able to start convincing some of these guys. I really want Cadi to join willfully. I don't want to conquer them. Let's put a befriend on them. No, let's sway first. He's not quite at the point where the befriend will put him to 100%, so let's sway him for a little bit. All right. So Emir Gabriel has finally accepted the inevitable and decided to join our great Grand Emirate. Thank you for joining. As a reward for joining, I don't think I'm going to demand its conversion. I have really nothing against his empire. But as a reward for joining, we are going to immediately make you our chancellor. When you become chancellor, we'll be able to get rid of this strange dwarf, because we can move Emir Al-Aladin down to Spymaster and move Amir and Gabriel to Chancellor and improve our situation greatly. Yeah, this guy's never going to join willfully, so we're going to have to go to war with him. That sucks. He doesn't even hold that, like, his primary title is outside of our area, obviously, because he is a duke. Well, I should say an Emir. We will be able to get Emir Razik here to join us. That's just going to take some work. And we're just going to conquer this little county up here. As simple as that. He didn't have enough troops and there's nothing he could do. He only has one territory, so we just siege it down and take it over. Now we can form the Duchy of Seville, which will immediately become Isabilia. And that definitely brings him closer. He will definitely, after our sways go on for a little while longer, join up. And there it is. He has now seen the way and joined us. That means in order to consolidate all of Seville, we just have one more military conquest we have to do. And because that territory is held by someone whose title will never be de jure to us, it'll have to be by combat. Yeah, we're definitely going to be able to get Amir Asik to join us, which will give us the space that we need, give us the number of counties that we need in order to form the Kingdom of Al-Andalus. In order for us to get him to join, we're going to need to do a little work on him, though. Particularly, he's going to become... Okay, I'm having a hard time calculating this. It's a little more difficult than I thought. So he's less than 50% liking, which will give us a lot, and so will becoming his friend. So that's good. This guy over here will not accept probably ever. Our ally is only 106 down, which means once he becomes adjacent to us, he will. And this guy's a king. All right, so we're going to siege our de jure territory inside of this guy's realm. He really doesn't stand a chance. It's going to be another one of those quick little wars just to make everything we want to happen down here in Iberia. So we're going to have to chase him down. Oh, he escaped to the sea. So we're going to turn around and come back and fight him wherever he lands. Because apparently that's going to run away. So let's try to just do a circling maneuver and catch him here. We have caught him. Stronger than us until the whole military joins, and then we've got this easily. Probably going to have to send our troops up north next to break this siege. I don't know if they'll hold the siege or if they'll run away. Probably run away, to be honest, once they realize that they're going to be so easily defeated. Yep. I think we're gonna... There's no reason to chase them. Let's turn around and start the siege of the Wargle. There we go. Of course, I will accept your vows of fealty. Thank you very much. And we just repeat it again. He went to the sea and escaped to the south, so we had to break out our siege and come down here and kill him. And we're going to catch him this time in his cheeky siege up in the north. No running away this time, just defeat. Just sound defeat. And we've caught him again up here in the north. Still with his cheeky sieges. We are winning every battle we fight, but now I think we're going to just try to siege down and get this over with. Yeah, he's become pretty desperate. He's now just trying to break our siege over and over again instead of trying to succeed at any real goals. It's not going to go well for him. Our military is just way too strong. And... another daughter. Great. And we win. And we now control all of Iberia. So, in order for us to convince him, we're going to actually have to become friends with him. So we'll break off the sway, switch it to a befriend action. 100% chance. Yes, we will accept your vows of homage. Of course we will. We are a peaceful leader. We are a unifier. And we don't want any conflicts that might come from misrepresenting our position. He is getting closer and closer. Our second book, Crime and Punishment. This book is an intrigue book. I don't think we've ever had an intrigue ruler in our family, in spite of the fact we've been so murderous. Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. In fact, the great Al-Aladdin was a torturer. Forgot about that. And we're going to hold a feast just because that guy asked us to. You know, a nice feast would be good. Great. We've become friends with Emir Rashik, and that should put us into a position where we can ask him to become our vassal. Thank you, Amir Rashik, for accepting me at your hearth and inviting me into your home. Well, Sultan, it is a great honor that you've come here to talk to me. I assumed that it was inevitable. It seems to me that I am the last significant member of the Umayyad dynasty. It does strike me that that's the case. A long while back, in the time of my ancestor, Uzzah, who some people call the Mad, your ancestor ruled this whole land as emperor. Yes, he did. And I believe that it is the destiny of this land to be ruled by our people, specifically by those descended from the Andalusian traditions of this realm. Yes, great Sultan, but you wish for this land to be ruled by you. I do. I don't just wish for this land to be ruled by me. I think that it's inevitable. It will be me, or it will be the Abbasid Caliph that has abandoned us, who is the direct descendant of those who attempted to murder your ancestor and forced them to flee here. This is true. And I would say that my Majorcan people are very much akin to your own. We are, after all, as much Iberian Andalusian as we are North African. We are a mix between the traditions of this region and Africa. And inside of that mix, I think there is an argument for the right to rule and the right to an independent faith. Well, the Majorcan people that unified with your Berber ancestors, they were Catalan, but I see what you're saying. It is true. You're right. From my ancestors' parentage, there is an Andalusian connection. From my ancestors' tutelage, there is a Berber connection. And from my ancestor's choice in his place to live, there is a Catalanian connection. It is my wish to unify all of those lands once held by your ancestor again under a new empire. That empire will be one in which you will have a place and much influence. You know, what I like the most about this meeting is that we're having it at all. We both know the position we're in. It's clear. You could take what you wanted, likely without even needing to call on the assistance of your local and distant allies. And yet you come here and you ask. You acknowledge the significance of my family. You acknowledge the importance of our place here. I must say I don't see that much would change. Well, were you to join us, I would once again establish the kingdom of Andalusia. And then someday, when I am emperor, that kingdom will be yours. Well, you come here offering a crown, and the only thing that I have to give up is service. I don't think that you will find service to me giving anything up. I think that we will be and remain great friends. You will hold a great place within first the Grand Emirate and then the Empire of Majorcan. And you can depend on my army to defend you. This alliance and your oath of service is, I think, in your best interest and the best interest of all Muslims in Iberia. Then we are agreed. I will swear the oath and my family will serve yours. And if someday you should find a way to break away from the Arabs and form this empire that you imagine, I hope that you remember what you promised to my people today. It will be impossible for me to forget, my friend. Our dinner awaits us and the time for politics is at an end. Let us just eat and relax together as friends. To dinner as friends. And that should put us into a position where we can create the kingdom of Al-Andalus. This guy is next. We're going to start. Do we need to sway him or can we just go right to friendship? It's 45. I think we can just go right to friendship because our friendship is more likely to succeed. That's how we are. Better at making friends than convincing people of things they don't want to do. And in the long tradition of our people is going to break finally. Grand Amir Abdul is going to actually begin to develop the core territories and make sure that they have good buildings and good infrastructure to create a strong future for his heir. He's now our vassal. The only thing that's preventing us now from creating the kingdom of Al-Andalus is money, something that we make pretty fast, to be honest. So it won't be a big deal. Just need to take the central territory there, and the entire of de jure Al-Andalusia will be ours. Well, Andalusia, I guess it's called, not Al-Andalusia. It's just Al-Andalusia. Oh no, actually, we still don't control the south. Right, our ally wants us to go to war with him. He is going to be unifying all of Valencia. Successful befriend Emir Midras. No, not you. Your liege. Yeah, Emir Midras will become our vassal when his wars are over. That's exactly what we were hoping for. They always seem to be at war whenever that threshold's over. Oh, he's in 2 wars and he's losing one of them. Well, hopefully it turns out okay for him. All right, this war seems to actually be going pretty well. I think we're going to succeed at helping him to consolidate Valencia. Once he consolidates Valencia, all of Valencia will be held by him, except for, of course, Majorcan, but that's been held by us for basically 1 million years, and there's no chance of him ever taking that, and he's probably going to become our vassal anyway. I'm pretty sure the only thing that was preventing it before was distance. We captured the leader. He has won his war. Now we're just waiting for this guy to get in a war in order to solidify our control. He is 100% willing to become our vassal. As I suspected, it was only distance because of our long positive relationship. He is now part of our great grand emirate, and the Kingdom of Valencia is all de jour in our hands. We just need to make the title. You know, my great friend Abdul, I had my doubts when you first came to me and said, I will assure that one day all of Valencia would be in your power. When you came to me and you said that you would break away from the great Arab empire and form a Western empire that was more akin to the traditions of our own people and the traditions of this land that we've adopted as our home. Of course you had doubts. They were enormous dreams. I had enormous dreams, I admit, but you were one of the first to get on board. Well, I was one of the first to see the power of the Grand Emirate and the power of its Sultan. But I did not, I admit, immediately agree to servitude. I wanted to see whether or not your dreams of dominance in Iberia would even be possible. At the time you seemed distant. I mean, my ancestor has ruled in the islands of Maerket, right off your coast, since four generations ago. If you consider that distant, you know, I do. Your ancestor may have ruled there, but your family has ruled from Sardinia for a very long time. And to me, that felt distant. That felt almost like you didn't know, like you didn't remember what it was to be part of this great venture, this great expansion into the beautiful lands of Iberia. I had doubts, I admit I had doubts, but those doubts are all gone now. I knew they would be. You have helped me to conquer my enemies. You have helped me to unify all of Valencia, just as you said you would. And now you stand here today in front of me and you say, I would be your sultan. One day I would be your emperor. And I have to admit, you've done nothing except be just to our original alliance. You've been nothing but a good friend. I can do nothing but agree. Of course, my family, my clan will swear itself to the service of your grand emirate. It will acknowledge your position as the king of Valencia, and we will do everything in our power to help you in your venture to break away from the Arabs and create a Western Muslim empire, one that fulfills the dream of the Umayyad Golden Age that never took place, one that is much more secure and strong, one held together by the bonds of your just rule. And if that empire should ever come into existence, my friend, I promise you this, just as I promised Rashid that he would be king of Andalusia, you will be king of Valencia. Well, I'm somewhat overwhelmed. It wasn't something I expected. I was actually happy with the way things had turned out so far. Yes. If it is your wish that my family shall hold the crown here under the empire of Maerket that you form, well, how can anyone say no to such a thing? I wasn't expecting you to say no. I was simply expecting you to agree and accept the offer and join me in this venture. Soon, we will have the military that we need. There is one more campaign of arms that I intend to perpetrate before I go to the Caliph and tell him that I no longer consider myself to be his inferior. First, materially, then spiritually. Oh, what is that? We shall expand to control the lands just south of us in Africa. Those lands that traditionally have been a path to striking against Iberia. Controlling those lands ourselves will make it much more difficult for anyone, more specifically for the Arab Empire, to unseat us once we control everything in the region. It's a bold move, but I must say, I expect it. You are a bold man. Well, I look forward to serving you on the field of battle, and I look forward to presenting you the crown of Valencia. Another daughter, and we will commemorate the birth of our fifth daughter by passing the law to make it equal inheritance. Now, this inheritance law only means upon death, You actually have to change it inside your religion in order to make it so that you can grant titles freely to women. So that's the next step. All right, we have become very strong here. There's not very much more that we need to do before we can start focusing on the southern part of the Strait of Gibraltar and take over the holy site down there. This is inevitable. He will inevitably join us. He just needs to finish his awful wars. Kingdom of Valencia will someday be ours as well. Another crown to add to our pile. I'd like to take Aragon and Badajoz, but this is going to be much more complicated because these guys are much more reluctant. Much more reluctant to join us. And I'm not sure what's going to have to happen to change their opinion about that. We may need to do a little war here in the west, even though we were hoping to get away from that. Our heir has come of age, which is great. And he did okay in his education, I would say. We taught him okay. We can now vassalize this guy. He is the dude we went to war with at the very beginning of our adventures in Sevilla. I come to you bearing a letter from Sultan and High Amir Abdul of the Merkit Empire, Sultan of Andalusia, Sultan of Valencia, of course. He writes, Emir, we have had many conflicts in the past. First, when you, by some arguments justly and by other arguments unjustly, warred with my good friend, the Amir of Valencia, to regain land that you believed belonged to you, and then again, when I stripped you of that territory, which has traditionally been part of my own territory, now established in Isbilla. This is a formal request that you bend. Accept that I am the Lord of all Muslims in Iberia, that I am your rightful liege as Sultan of Andalusia, and you will be forgiven, and your territory as it now stands will be decreed as yours and your family's forever after, a part of the Kingdom of Andalusia. This, sir, is an offer of reconciliation, but you must know that should you choose to refuse, you have met my army on the field of battle before, and it proved superior. And since then I have worked endlessly to expand my armies, to develop my lands, and to unify my people, and my army is greater now by nearly twofold what it was when we last met on the field of battle. Do not take this as a threat. Take it only as an inevitable truth. The lands that you currently hold are a part of my Sultanate of Andalusia, and they will be either held by you as their rightful Emir, or I shall take them and grant them to another. But in either case, I am Sultan, and those lands will be mine. Your Sultan, he does not mince words. He speaks, he offers everything and threatens everything in the same letter. Yes, and I will say this, as one of his converts, as someone who once stood independent of him and now gratefully serves as his vassal, he will give what he promises on either side of the blade. He will either grant you what he says he will grant, or he will take that which he says he will take. He is a man of his word. If he offers you a chance at reconciliation, there will be no grudge held against you, and you will hold your rightful place. He offers me the position of Emir. I am not currently the Emir of anything. I am simply a wali with a great territory. Yes, it is my belief that he will unify Granada and consolidate it as an emirate, and that once he does so, he will grant that title to you under his service. How can someone say no to such an offer? No sane man would. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. There are men who serve under him who are your enemies, who would gladly see you thrown into prison and have your lands divided up amongst them. But the Sultan is just, and he wishes to give you this opportunity to submit peacefully. I cannot refuse. That is a wise decision. You have made a wise decision today. Your descendants will thank you for it. Now, just waiting for this war to be done. We control all of de jure Andalusia except for his region. We control all of de jure Valencia. You know, we don't really need to swim anymore now that he's accepted the inevitable. Having said that, our next major goal is to break away from the Abbasid Empire. Maybe after we break away from the Abbasid Empire, we'll conquer Cyprus, because they seem to have consolidated it. None of it's held by the Byzantine Empire anymore. His military is very strong. We have like half of his military strength right now. At some point in time, a rebellion took Egypt away from us. I didn't even know. Our liege just abandoned the defense of it and gave it to the peasants, and then it feels like somebody opportunistically conquered the peasant leader, as they always do. This Liberty War. Come on. Come on. Why is it that whenever I'm ready to vassalize somebody, it always feels like they're in the middle of a Liberty War? Or some other kind of war that takes literally forever. I wish we could join Liberty Wars. I think, you know, we're allies, right? I should be able to come in there and smash up the people who are questioning his right to rule. Another big focus of our next episode, other than the war south of Gibraltar in Tefez, is going to be making all the titles, passing them all out, and consolidating our territory in order to create an even stronger military. We're going to continue to use our children to create alliances among the clans so that we can dominate the entire region. We want to secure the Mediterranean as well. This is a pretty big deal, actually. Yeah, we are doing well. Getting closer and closer to our ultimate goal of controlling all of the formerly Muslim territory in southern Iberia, becoming the Western Muslim Empire, and then eventually declaring ourselves Caliph. We will probably wait to betray the Caliph until he's dead. I should say, we will betray his son once he's dead, or his cousin, or his uncle, or whatever. Whoever takes over for him, who knows who's going to take over for him. I haven't been tracing their ancestry. I think that's it. I think next time we return to Africa. And so the dream of a great Merkid empire is closer now than it has ever been before. A rebirth of the Umayyad dream of a golden age, and the unification of many desperate people who have long held claim to the lands in Iberia. Abdul has only one more hurdle that he must overcome in order to succeed at his great goal. He must finally, once and for all, split with the Abbasid emperor and form an empire of his own. On the path to doing so, he must consolidate all of his lands. He must pacify his vassals, giving titles to those who deserve it. And he must take control of the vital African entryway into Iberia, such that it cannot be used to unseat his power, as it historically has been. Will he succeed at these lofty goals? I cannot say. But his story will continue, and I hope that if you have enjoyed the story so far, you will join us. Thank you, and I shall see you then.